Have you ever found out someone's secret and wish you hadn't? The attic was off limits because of how messy and dangerous it was up there. But Mom told me the extra phone charger had to be up there somewhere. So here I was, trying to find it among all the boxes. I spied my parents' tax document boxes that were open as if someone had been going through them recently. I was going to turn away when something caught my eye. It was a stack of photos. I bent the flaps of the box further and pulled out a picture. It was of my dad when he was younger. His arm was around a young woman and they were both smiling widely, joy on their faces. I grabbed another photo. This one had them looking at each other with an expression I could only describe as love. It was the same look Dad gave my mom. My stomach dropped as I studied the pictures. Dad looked so happy. Another picture showed my dad with his arm around the woman and two young kids standing in front of them. I turned the picture over to find the date written on the back, 1995. This was before I was born. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe they were my cousins and this woman was an aunt I didn't know existed. But then I saw the ring on her finger and I frowned hard. Was this woman secretly married to my dad? Was this a whole family he had behind our backs? Tears entered my eyes at the thought of him betraying us. I had to talk to my mom about this. I probably should have put the pictures back in the box and ignored it until I could talk to Mom about it, but something about it was calling my name. I sat on the cold floor of the attic and went through the whole box. I saw cards signed by the two kids saying, "Happy birthday, Daddy. Can't wait to see you next week." There were plane ticket stubs, and my jaw dropped when I read them. The family lived in Texas, the same place Dad traveled for work twice a year. I felt like the floor dropped out from beneath my feet. He's been hiding this secret since before I was born. I continued going through the box. There were more pictures. Pictures of the older girl at a father-daughter dance. Pictures of the boy at soccer games and then football games as he got older. There was a picture of the girl in a prom dress with her arms wrapped around a handsome boy. In another picture, the boy was dressed in his football gear, sweaty after a game, with his team holding a trophy. In another picture was my dad with his arm around the shoulders of the girl and boy, but they were older, at least in their upper teen years. I could barely catch my breath. This was too much. I shoved everything back in the box after hearing Mom pattering around in the kitchen. It was time for me to get out of here. I spotted the charger in another box, grabbed it, and climbed back down the ladder. That night, I sat at the kitchen table with my parents. Dad asked me for the salt and talked about his job and how hard his day was. I pushed my food around my plate after losing my appetite. I lasted 4 days before I cracked and cornered Mom in the kitchen after dinner one night. Dad had gone out for guys' night with his friends, so it was just me and Mom. "I know about Texas," I told her. She instantly paled and sat down at the kitchen table. "How long?" she asked. "For a few days now," I answered. "He has a whole new family, Mom." She sighed, suddenly looking tired. "I know," she muttered. "It was a mistake he made before you were born. We broke up for a few years after high school, and he met Clarissa in that time, married her, and had a couple of kids. When we got back together, he was transparent with me, told me all about her and his kids. We came to an agreement. He would visit them twice a year, but he chose us in the long run." I stared at her, unable to understand why she was so calm about the whole thing. "I have siblings," I snapped. "He has a whole other family." "Who means nothing," Mom yelled back. "They mean nothing to us, and that's the way it's going to stay. Nothing is going to change from you knowing the truth. Time to do your homework." I was frozen for a moment, not sure what I was hearing, but then Mom snapped her fingers in front of my face, jarring me from my thoughts. I went upstairs to do my homework as my mind and heart raced. When Dad came home from his guys' night, I wasn't sure I would be able to look at him the same way again. It was too much, and I tried looking up his family on Instagram. I found my half-sister's Instagram and scrolled through it. She looked happy, like she was flourishing. I hesitated as I thought about messaging her, but then I decided not to. Mom was right. Nothing was going to change now that I knew the truth.